It's time now for the pressure rankings, though.
For me, it was a self-imposed pressure.
Was I under pressure? No.
Yeah, they're under pressure. Everyone's under pressure.
OTB AM's pressure rankings with Gillette.
And the big pressure.
The producer of the show has made a last-minute editorial decision to insert himself into the conversation. Obviously, we haven't done enough Meath on the show this morning. Something is wrong. Tommy, you're under a bit of pressure to deliver some good stuff now, boy.
Good morning, folks. How are we doing? Yeah, 100%. We haven't done enough Meath this morning, but as I told one of our YouTube commenters a little earlier, we're keeping the heads down this week. Dublin are ready to be got at. But before we get to that, will we get into the pressure rankings?
Dublin are ready to be got at. We're keeping the heads down. That's not how you keep the heads down. Just a little bit of advice. You don't tell them you're coming for them.
Well, you made that mistake at halftime yesterday, Jared, didn't you?
No, I was just taunting you.
Yeah, you got to get the balance right, Tommy. You got to get the balance. Let's be honest. Meath have an open hell of beating Dublin. So enjoy these couple of days of humiliation that Jared Gilroy has suffered over the weekend. So just enjoy this. Don't worry about Dublin.
Nathan, if there's anyone who's suffered humiliation over the last couple of years, it's been yourself and your lack of balance when it comes to talking about Mayo football on the show.
Is Nathan under pressure?
Pride.
Is he under pressure rankings?
Nathan's not under pressure this morning. Now, if Owen Sheehan was putting this together, it might be a little bit different. But I've got a bit of a ranking after the back of the weekend about who's actually under pressure. So we kick off at number 5. At number 5, the Irish rugby team are under massive pressure this weekend to smash England. We need to get a bit of revenge. England bet us in the spring in the Six Nations, and then Saracens went and smashed Leinster. Like, does the rugby really matter this week? It matters if we beat England. So the Irish rugby team are definitely under a bit of pressure. Next on the pressure rankings, their number 4 is Stephen Kenny in Ireland. They need a win, but more importantly, they need a goal. Like, what on earth is going to happen with the FAI's Goal of the Year competition at the end of the year? There is 9 hours left. 9 hours, lads, since we scored a goal. 9 hours.
Good question.
I was the judge on the FAI Goal of the Season quite a few times, and was it 2 years ago? I think there were 4 goals. That was the year we gave Declan Rice under 21 Player of the Year.
Look, it couldn't be worse than that this year. So, like, please God, can Adam Ida please get a goal? Can somebody please just knock one in? Even Shane Duffy, I don't care if it's Shane Duffy. Again, I was actually happy Shane Duffy missed at the start of the game the last day because we need someone else scoring goals.
77% of our listeners this morning say keep the faith. So only 23% think this is not the way to go at the moment. So Stephen Kenny still has the Ireland fans with him.
100%. And that has to be the case. Like, we look at who we bet. There was a list of who we bet over the last 3 or 4 years, and it's Gibraltar, Georgia. Don't even know if Moldova was in there, but there's a couple of countries there that they're the only teams we've been beaten. So look, there's been little signs of progression. You boys have talked about that already. But anyways, number 3, the next person who's under pressure, the next people who are under pressure are GA managers who have been knocked out. I'm not going to stick Jack O'Connor on here after Meath whooped Kildare in the second half yesterday. We've got Porrick Joyce and we've got Davy Fitzgerald down as probably 2 managers who are under a little bit of pressure. Peter Keane, perhaps, I'd say he's going to survive the winter this year in Kerry. He'll make it through. He'll get 2021. Will Davy Fitz get 2021 with Wexford? We heard him earlier on speaking to Liam Spratt. He wants it. He listed off the list of achievements they had, the Leinster title for the first time since 2004. And what about Porrick Joyce? Galway were in great shape at the start of the year this year. They look so good in the spring, and it just hasn't clicked into gear ever since he brought Jimmy McGuinness down to Salt Hill.
Here, Tommy, you can't put Porrick Joyce in there and not Jack O'Connor in there when Kildare has taken the mother and father of all beatings. Galway, everything that could go against them did go against them. No warm-up games. They go in and suddenly find a Mayo that are transformed over the last few months. No, I think Porrick Joyce, the legend that he is down in Galway, can rest easy for the winter.
I think Jack O'Connor's going to be under a bit of pressure this winter.
Really?
I think so, yeah. Just because the second half is one of the worst performances. Kildare put in some shady performances over the last decade. That was right up there with anything. It was a 10-point turnaround. It was actually more than that. I stopped counting. When the 5th goal went in, I stopped counting.
I think could have been 50. No, maybe it was 10 points, yeah. Look, I'll be honest, Jerry, you were keeping kind of quiet in the build-up to this game. You've been pretty quiet about Kildare football for quite a while.
I wasn't. I've constantly said that they need to find an identity. Who are they? What are they trying to do? They have great athletes, but where's like they're a lovely team of nice young men.
That's how I would have. Now, if that's how I would have seen Kildare going into this game this weekend, they were a little bit flaky going into the game, and while they had a great start, I wasn't that worried at half time. I kind of was confident that Meath were going to pull a performance out of the bag based on the fact of what I've seen over the last 18 months and what I've been saying every bloody time Owen Sheehan leaves us outside the top 10 in his power rankings. That Meath are building something here. I'm not saying we're close enough to Dublin to beat them in the Leinster final. Definitely, we rattled them in Parnell Park a couple of weeks ago, and I was speaking to a former Meath manager, and I'm not going to say who he was, but he was over Meath for about 24 years, and he said, wasn't it great to see the Meath boys treating the Dubs like humans? And it was good to see it. They were treating them like they were human beings. They were going toe-to-toe to them. They were challenging them. They were getting in their faces. And
I think you've been smoking on some of his herbs.
The Leinster final last year, lads, was an absolute freak. It was a freak result. Everyone was talking about the fact that Meath scored 4 points. They hit the post maybe 4 times. I think they might have been a little bit rattled by what was happening all around them. And
the goal scoring is a real thing. They're trying to score goals. There was a number of other goal scoring opportunities they had. The Kildare keeper made some saves, and there's obviously we need to score goals to win games against Dublin. They have literally built their team with this single game in mind, and they have arrived at it in as good form as they could possibly do. The one caveat to that is, Tommy, if they put in 35 minutes like the first half, it'll be 3-15 to 1 point, and the game will be gone. So they've
absolutely. 100%. Yeah, 100%, Jared. That's bringing us to number 2. That's bringing us to number 2 on our pressure rankings. It's Stephen Cluxton. Like, the last time Meath scored 5-9, when was it? Tell me what happened, lads.
2010.
2010.
Just a couple of weeks before the greatest robbery of all time.
At least get Brian Farrell, mask.
Joe Sheridan, like Stephen Bray. We got these goals. We nailed Dublin. And that was, that was a lovely time in history back then, 2010. God.
Well, if you think back to 2010 as well, Meath score 4 to knock Dublin out, and then a team that have suffered heartbreak in so many previous All-Ireland finals sneak in and claim All-Ireland glory.
Talking about 51 again?
No, I'm talking about Cork 2010, that maybe Mayo can replicate that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, look, Mayo weren't on the pressure rankings this week. Will Meath score 7 goals against Dublin? I don't know. Do we need to score 7 goals against Dublin to beat them? Probably. Like, I've said it 2 weeks in a row. I may be bottom of the OTB AM predictions table when it comes to actually picking the teams that win. But I think we all know that I've had the best calls in the last couple of weeks. And the first one was Jordan Morris. He is a savage little footballer. He is class. I'm telling you. Shane Walsh, number 14. We've been talking about him in Meath for the last 2 years. Superstar. Matthew Costello's got 7 on his back. He was the Meath minor captain 2 years ago. He's a great addition too. These are all new young footballers that Meath have brought into the table in the last 2 years, 18 months, 12 months. And I'm not saying that
maybe now Dublin, all those lads who are brilliant in Meath County, Meath club football will shake themselves and get involved.
Maybe someday soon. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm not saying there's chinks in the Dublin armour, but I've definitely seen some chinks in the Dublin armour over the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Number one.
Can we just make sure we clip this for later in the year, where Tommy was suggesting, I'm not saying we'll score
on
7
Michael
goals.
Darmacauli's boombox. That's what it's going to be. He's going to just sit it in the changing room before the game, before throw-in. Listen to what the Meath lads are saying.
Okay, lads, let's just put it this way. Nathan, you can empathise with this because you're still in the championship, and I know you're giddy with excitement about the potential of Mayo possibly winning the All-Ireland one more time this year. Meath are still in the championship, Ger. Like, we're up against Dublin. Whatever happens, happens. But we're still in it. We weren't hammered by 5 goals in the second half yesterday. Listen to what Pádraig Faulkner, the Kingscourt star and the Cavan star, said earlier on. It's great to be playing and it's great to have it. So Meath are going to believe for the rest of the week.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. So number 1.
Jesus.
Can I just get to number 1 on the pressure
quickly?
rankings?
Yes.
And I was so happy that I managed to get this out. It's one of my pet hates in Gaelic football. It's when you nail a boy's shoulder, you scream in his face and you lose your free. I've seen it happen so many times in club football over the years. Is it something that I may have done when I was 18 or 19 years of age? Potentially, yes. But I've matured as a man now on a football pitch, and I just don't get involved in that anymore. And I just saw the Armagh boys and the photo of Michael Murphy. And I love that Armagh team. I'm a big fan of a lot of their footballers. And we can just see it. Murphy on the ground, they've nailed him a shoulder, they turned him over, like they've got a free, and there's 4 of them screaming in his ear. Like, Jesus, get that ball. 3 years go left, 2 years go right. Break fast. Just get the ball off Murphy. Maybe get the free move forward 10 yards. But you're wasting so much energy with this pseudo-macho bullshit screaming at a fella. And, we saw it then with they're 9-10 points up in Cavan in the first half. And Cavan come back in the second half and beat them. They're rubbing Killian Clark's head. Maybe, I don't know, they're not a big fan of the man bun that he has, but Kenny Clark stood up in the second half. He kicked an unbelievable point. And I know it was his brother Lee Clark that put this image together for Instagram afterwards. And all I can say is fair play to the Cavan boys and sledging in the GA. I have no time for it. So that's our pressure rankings for this week.
Jesus.
OTB AM's pressure rankings with Gillette.
And I took that personally, could actually just be the central meme for the motivation at the heart of every single great GAA team's performance. You know, Jim Gavin looks at what happened against Donegal. I took that personally, and then 5 in a row, or maybe 6 in a row. Who knows?
I'm just shell-shocked by what happened there with Tommy being afforded, 5 minutes of pure propaganda.
13 minutes.
13 minutes under some sort of a guise of pressure rankings.
The show is late.
Meath and they're brilliant. And basically himself.
Yes.
Himself.
The show is now late officially because our producer has derailed things piratically. Right, I've told you what's coming up on OTB Sports Radio today. And a reminder that we are live weekday mornings from 7:30. You've got to catch us live between 7:30 and 10. We'll have great prizes to give away over the next couple of weeks coming your way too. But stay with us, another 30 minutes of GAA goodness. We bring you the best from our analysts over the weekend. Andy Moran's post-match reaction from the Connacht football final. Mossy Quinn was at the double-header for the Leinster semi-finals. And Tommy Walsh gets stuck into the weekend's hurling.